Chelsea Fan TV. Last fan cam of the day, and I'm on my last legs. I am just beaten to the ground. I am so... Everyone who said when I reacted to the rumours of Liam Rosenior coming in, the sacking of Maresca, I was never Maresca's biggest fan, but everyone who said, Alex, you're overreacting, you're being too negative, look on the bright side. Yusuf, can I have your phone, please? This is the league table, guys. We're equal on points with Fulham. We're 8th in the Premier League. We're 1 point ahead of Sunderland. We're 2 points ahead of Brighton and Everton. We are a joke. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we're just crap, mate. We're just crap. Like, you know, there's a day for shouting, there's a day for screaming, there's a day for all this stuff. Like, comes to a point where you're in a cave and you hear an echo, you're in an echo chamber, saying the same thing again and again and again and again. We also heard the same chants again and again and again in the away section. We don't care about you, Clear Lake. They don't care about us. All we care about is Chelsea FC. I heard chants, Roman Abramovich. I heard FU Egbali. You know, the frustration has come to that point where it is just boiling over. And the last time I remember hearing that level of passion in an away section towards the ownership was probably Brentford 2 years ago when we played against Brentford. And everyone was saying, F off Todd Bowley. Now they're looking at Egbali and Clear Lake because they're obviously the ones running the club. And we are becoming the epitome of an English version of the MLS. We are an MLS. We're like an MLS franchise. Our job is not to win games. Our job is just to be in the league, entertain the fans a little bit, and repeat the cycle. It is just draining. I'm so drained, guys. I'm so drained. I said there's only one positive that we can get from Liam Rosenior coming in. Maybe you get more out of Palmer. Hopefully you get more out of players like Delap. I thought Delap actually had a really good game. I think he's been great. I thought he was great against Man City. Really, really positive. Everybody's saying that, Alex, you're delusional because you've been saying Delap's a good player. It's actually good business. That's a good player right there. But then you've got João Pedro. I'm like, oh, come on. Just mediocrity in this football club. Like, I don't have a problem with Delap. But then you've also got João Pedro. I don't have a problem with Garnacho. But then you bought Gittins. You just, honestly, like, I want to just hide. I just want to hide. Like, I've probably got another 25 of these fan cams, maybe 30. I don't know, depending on how we do in club competition. Probably, let's just say 20 to 25 fan cams left. What am I going to say that's going to be any different to what I'm saying now? In 7 games' time, in March, in May, like, what's going to be different? I mean, we can slip down the table more. We can continue to fall down, but like, I'm at the point now where I'm just weak. My joints feel like I'm just numb. I'm numb to it. You know, I'm numb to it. Don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. Like, I think Callum McFarlane has done a pretty good job as interim. Like, can't really fault him from coming as an under-21s coach. The team's fighting. There's no lack of effort. We're putting in 110%, but it looks like, you know, the board are putting 110% into sabotaging us, making us worse. And they've done it. The ownership have done it. I mean, I'm just broken, really, honestly. I'm past. I'm just finished. I'm absolutely finished. Like, what do you take from that? What do you take from that? You could say it was nice to have a 3 in midfield.
Chelsea are shit, bro.
You could say it was nice to see Hato. I thought Hato had a good game. There's a positive. Hato, the lap, 2 positives. And the away section. I thought the crowd was sensational. Well done to everyone in the away section. I thought you were fantastic. And I thought, I was getting texts from people saying, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. The goals will come. And the lap score, but it wasn't enough. Ultimately, with 10 men, there's only so much you can do. I think Cucurella, it's just rash. It's so rash. Come on, mate. You're a top defender. You're meant to be one of the experienced guys, leading by example. Soft or not, so lapsing concentration. We didn't focus. Harry Wilson had a great game, but you can't think about what you saw today.
Blue out, Rosenior out, get them all out, mate. It's a joke. The fans were vocal. We tried making an atmosphere, and we've done exactly that. And I look at players like Tosin, I look at players like João Pedro, and it makes me think of the Oranges. It makes me angry, and makes us think, why are we signing championship level players? And I think both of them are exactly championship level players. The biggest leader we've got is a championship level Fulham reject or whatever. We've got players like João Pedro, come on, who does absolutely nothing. I just really don't understand. What project is that? I'm trying to understand. These lot are multi-billionaire people, right? What is this project? I've got mocks to do. I could be sitting there revising for my exams, and I've got an actual GCSE test in 3 weeks. I'll come in here. The amount of fans come from an effort. Don't forget, we're Chelsea, right? Not all fans come from Fulham. Not all fans come from West London. And fans are making effort, and the players just don't really turn up for us today. In my opinion, they didn't. Their midfield was woeful at times. We've spent about £260 million on a midfield who, even though I've been good certain games, just it's what is this all about, mate? It's useless, mate. It's useless.
You're obviously very upset. Understandable, Jacob.
Mate, no, yeah.
Losing at Fulham is one thing. Losing at Fulham and everything that happened with the manager. I mean, what's your expectation for the rest of the season?
Well, I don't really have an expectation. Blue card, clearly they can't get rid of him, mate. That's all I can say. Because my expectation should be win a title race or at least get Europe. Is that going to happen? And maybe we try and win a cup or at least be competitive in a cup. But is that going to happen? Absolutely not, because we're run by idiots. Our players aren't good enough. We keep chopping and changing managers. And when it actually works, yeah, goodbye, you're gone, mate. It's a joke, honestly, mate. Everyone, go to that protest. I think the aim should be 100,000 people there. Not only people that go to the game, but people that care about our club and care about the sport of football. I think fans from other teams should come, because actually these owners are signifying more than something about Chelsea. They're signifying the problems in football.
What are the problems in football?
Comes to about money. Obviously, I think business is going to be part of it. I think it's a good
performance against Barcelona. You can go put in a performance against Arsenal, but what happens when you meet Fulham? What happens when you meet Sunderland? There's not enough leadership in this team. You can see our organization from a defensive point of view. When you play behind them, the communication is off. The gaps are there to be exposed. It's just poor from every single standpoint. We are actually finished. This I don't know. This might take a while for us to get back to the heights that we were. I think that the fact that we have. Before I said that we plateaued, now I think that we're going on a downward spiral. I think it's going to get worse than this. Because Liam Rosenior, with all due respect to him, He's a 41-year-old manager. Yeah?
Head coach.
Head coach. Yeah. We forgot about this regime, innit?
That's the official title.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's a head coach. He's 41 years old. He's got about 10 to 20 years of coaching ahead of him. He's coming into the lion's den right now. The amount of eyes that is going to be on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he falters. I wouldn't be surprised if we go on a bad run of games, because the way I look at it, this is very reminiscent of the Graham Potter season. Do you remember how Tuchel started off sort of slow?
Oh, I muted myself. Enough of that. Good evening to everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Welcome to the day after show. Unfortunately, nobody else has turned up, so it's just me. It is just me today. I said to myself, do I do anything? Do I run a show? Thought I'll push it back a little bit. It's been 20 odd minutes, and I haven't heard anything. So I'm gonna presume that I'm running this one on my own, and that's okay. That's okay. I've done it before, and I can do it again. And I tell you what, we have so much to talk about, guys. There is just a whole. It's like a gallery that we can look through, to do with Chelsea, to do with the game yesterday, what we saw, what we're seeing. What we're predicting, and how we're going to fare going into the rest of this, not just Premier League campaign. We've got Charlton, obviously, on Saturday. We've got Arsenal in the Cup as well. There is a lot to dive into. So today is going to be a little bit different. Usually we have the normal podcast format. Today is going to be more like a Q&A, and I will also be going through some of the stuff that maybe we didn't know that has come out today as well. So I think the first thing that I need to speak about is just the game as a whole. Let's talk about the football, and then we can move on from that, and we can talk about the atmosphere. We could talk about the away end. There's the truth is, I've had so many conversations with people, and a lot of people say similar things. They say, Chelsea are not a million miles off. And it's like, okay, fine, but how many miles off are we? Are we one player away? Are we two players away? Are we four players away from being a league title winning side? How much money do we have to spend in order to get that, in order to close that gap? And what do we need to spend it on? So that's the first question. Is it even a question of who's in the team? Is it about who's running the team? Is it about the management? Are the coaching staff good enough? Is the head coach good enough? Do we need a head coach? Should we even have one? Maybe we should be going along the lines of a manager, looking at what Man City and Arsenal have achieved. None of those clubs have head coaches. They all have managers. So we're not exactly using a winning formula, not at least if we're looking at the Premier League. And then obviously you look at the top, you look at Bluco, you look at Bowley, you look at Egbarley. Bowley's not even in the picture at the moment, so we have to look at Egbarley because he's the present man, but Bowley is a part of the consortium. It's all connected. There is such an issue at Chelsea right now, and what I experienced in Craven Cottage was the second time that I feel like the fans have really had a go at the ownership in the stadium. But the first time that we maintained it, no matter what the score was, But it did get heightened, obviously, when Fulham got their second goal. It got heightened when we were down. But the away support throughout was not really much different when we were losing, when we came back and scored. Like, obviously, it got the crowd going when Delap put that goal in off of a set piece. But maybe it's hard for people from home to know this because obviously you're watching on the telly. Sometimes I was hearing that Sky muted the away crowd at times. They muted some of the Roman Abramovich chants, or they turned the volume down on the away section. I don't even know why you do it. Like, that's what they do. Maybe they have an agreement with the club. I'm not a conspiracy guy. Who knows? But as soon as it came to the, we don't care about Clear Lake, they don't care about us, all we care about is Chelsea FC. As soon as that chant came out, then the volume was very, very evident. And the chant was constant. So you couldn't get away from it. It's a clear message from the fan base to Blueco and Igbali, as I mentioned. This is quite bright, isn't it? I'll turn that down a smidge. Oh, that's a bit better. That, you know, people aren't happy. I'm just finished. I am so done. I am so done with this club. Yesterday, you know, I've had this thought before, but it's never serious. I genuinely thought, why do I follow this team? I've been going consistently to Chelsea since Conte's second season. That's when I first got my season tickets at Stamford Bridge. And I consistently went to all the home games in Conte's second season and Sarri's first season, or Sarri's only season. So that would have been around, let's just say 2017, 2018 when I got my season tickets. I started following Chelsea home and away when Lampard got the job. Loved it. COVID happened, and I was lucky enough to go to Porto. I was lucky enough to go to the Leeds game when there was only about 2,000 fans, 3,000 fans in Stamford Bridge. Everyone was wearing their masks. I was very lucky. And since COVID, obviously, like, we've come back into the equation and we've been following Chelsea as per. But this is not Chelsea. This is never seen anything like it. Never. And you know what? This is how I felt outside Craven Cottage. I'm honestly lost for words. I am so lost for words. And I'm extremely curious to see how we continue the season. But they've killed us. They've killed us. They've absolutely killed us. Just can't believe what I'm watching. Can't believe what I'm watching. And I'm seeing Rosenior in the stands, and I'm thinking to myself, fucking hell. Like, where is the inspiration that I'm looking at? I'm looking for strength. I'm looking for some character, some leadership. Got nothing, mate. Got nothing. Absolutely fuck all. Fuck all. I don't even blame it on the players. You know, there's certain players I don't like. I'm not one of these people that boos every week. I've never booed. I've never booed. I may have told Maresca who's a wanker at Fulham last season, but I didn't boo. Does that count? I don't know. We ended up being okay on that day. But I need to make a video about this because I actually don't even know the amount of money that I am spending following this team, going to spend and planning on spending. I am like, yeah, you have to think, if you were in my position,
would you do it? Would you do it? And I fucking love watching it. But it's not even about the football, as I said. Like, we could lose. Like, with Potter, when we were losing every week, it was shit. But I had a great time because I thought, we'll be fine. We're Chelsea. We're gonna invest. We're gonna get a better manager. We're gonna get better players. We're gonna get experience, real quality, like we always do. And I also, like, I was one of those people who thought, okay, this is a project, no problem. I'm happy to be patient, and I was very patient. And now it's not about the football. It's about the fact that I know we're not going to punch our way out of this. We are not good. We're not going to break out of this cycle. We're literally sinking in quicksand. And quicksand doesn't go up. It goes down. And it drags you. And the more you struggle, the faster you go down. It is like, honestly, crazy, guys. It's crazy that I'm sitting here as a fan who's been following the team, as I mentioned, in person for close to 10 years. All right, I would have followed it for longer, but I lived abroad for a couple of years. Those of you who don't know, I lived in Spain up until I was about 15. So when I was 15, I moved back to the UK. Started following Chelsea straight away. Gave up a lot of things for Chelsea. A lot of things. You know, I've committed a lot to this club. A ridiculous amount. A lot of different careers out there that I stayed away from because I knew it wouldn't offer me flexibility. A lot of things. Lost jobs. Lost a job because of Chelsea. Not as many as Matt Dav. I've still got a bit of catching up to do there, but I have been fired because of Chelsea. There was a time where we played Brighton. This is when I think this might have been the Potter season. We played Brighton, and I think this is when Potter played. Maybe I can't remember if it was. It might have been actually the year before with Tuchel. We lost, and I left the office early to go and watch the game, and I got sacked the next day on my birthday. I got sacked, and that was because of Chelsea. I reckon. I'm going to give you a rough estimate. I reckon I've spent how much have I spent? What's this? So we have Potter, Lampard, Tuchel, Poch, Maresca this season. Season ticket, just under £1,000 a year. Let's just call it $5,000. Travel. I reckon I've spent 30 grand following Chelsea in 5 years. Just a rough guess. Like, it is not fucking worth it for the amount of pain mentally and physically. I lose a lot of sleep. I was up until 4 a.m., 3 a.m. uploading these fan cams. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. Mentally, it is draining. It's draining, and it's just like, why am I even asking you about how we played on the pitch? Does anyone even care about that? Everybody's thinking the same thing. What's the elephant in the room? Oh, there you go. You got that flag at the front of the stands. Fair play. Respect to you. Respect to you. I hope they saw it. I'm sure they saw it. I'm sure they saw it, and I'm sure they heard it as well. I'm sure Iqbali heard what was going on, and like honestly, the guys just don't even have words. I don't have words. The one regret that I have one regret. One, people have called me out for the way I've dealt with the owners in my interactions with them. And I've had a few actually. I've met Bowley 4 times, I think. 3 of them I had an opportunity to speak to him, and the other one not so much. The first time I met Bowley and Iqbali was in the hotel lobby in Austria when we played against Salzburg, and Potter was our manager. I was asleep in the hotel. My dad called me, said, come downstairs to the lobby. Graham Potter's down here. I got up. I went down quickly as I could. Potter was gone. Fuming. Next thing you know, the owners pop out of nowhere. Not just Todd, but Begdad as well. Of course, I walked over, shook their hands. Nobody knew anything really about them at this point. I didn't even know. I knew barely anything about Iqbali. It was all about Bowley at that show. I shook their hands and I had a conversation with them for about 10 minutes. And I told them about my interaction with Abramovich when I was in Porto, how it's like, it's cool that I've met the new owners as well. And the one regret that I have is that I thank them. I said, thank you for saving our club. And that is the one regret that I have, because I didn't know it. I didn't know this shit was going to happen. And that's the one regret I have. I should have never said that. We welcomed these guys in. We were not happy to see the back of Abramovich, but it was forced upon us by the UK government and Boris Johnson and the Conservatives. And now we are like well and truly in the shit, guys. Well and truly in the shit. We're finished. We are finished. We are finished with these guys. We are absolutely finished. And I just want to say this as well, like, when I spoke with Bowley and Iqbali, again, they were both in the room with me. Bowley was a perfectly nice bloke. He was actually very pleasant to hang out with. But Iqbali, the guy no sense of humor. Didn't want to I gave him my phone so he would film. If anyone's seen the video from a few years ago, Todd Bowley gave the channel a shout out. Iqbali was the one filming it. I had a flip phone, so the cover blocks the camera. So you have to hold it up so when you're filming. Iqbali kept filming and the bloody cover was in the way. I was like, Begdad, have you got a Google phone or something? Just lift up the cover. Bowley started laughing. I had a very pleasant interaction with these guys. I then saw Bowley. I saw Bowley the first day he ever came to Stamford Bridge against Wolves. Perfectly nice guy. And unfortunately, first interactions mean very little because you get to know people through time. How many people have you met in your life? The first interaction was pleasant. The first year was pleasant. And then you see their true colors. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Having said that, I don't think Iqbali was ever particularly friendly. I remember people asked him for pictures at Stamford Bridge. He said, I won't take a picture with you, but I'll shake your hand. What the fuck does that mean? You think I care that much about a handshake? Not me, by the way. This is people who told me. I remember once he ran away from Jacob after we lost a big game. I think it might have been Real Madrid in the Champions League at home. Fucking ran away. Abramovich used to sit in the stands in the shed. He used to sit there. He used to literally sit there next to any old fan. Doesn't matter. We're all in this together. We all want the same thing. But we don't, because if we did, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. We wouldn't be having this conversation. And this is why we're here, guys. This is why we are here at the moment. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's see this one. Big up to you, Chelsea FC 7145. I totally feel for you, mate. As a young Chelsea fan, I still remember my first game, December 2015, Chelsea versus Porto. This season has been the very first when I've gone on my own. Now it's just sad. CFC, we have to believe, mate. All we've got is each other at this point. All we've got is each other. And that's one of the therapeutic things about going on these streams and listening to people and hearing what they're saying. That's one of the very, very therapeutic things about it. Is you know, it's that's all you've got, guys. Fucking right now, you've not got a winning team. I say that. Listen, for all I know, we could have success. And I said this to Steve earlier. You know, I spoke to him a couple of days. Steve from Andover, who always interrupts the interviews. He's not been around for a while. The last interview was at Bournemouth. He said, Alex, I mean, a couple of the lads I'm going with, we're going, what's the point? Why are we spending all this money? And I said, Steve, you're still going to have good memories. No matter how shit we are, there's going to be days out and days that you enjoy it. I remember when we lost 4-1 to United. It was shy, but I had fun. When we lost 4-0 against Man City. And we were doing the Gianluca Vialli chants, or maybe that was 1-0. I don't know. We lost 2 games in the space of a week that season under Potter. And that was a great experience. That made me feel pride as a fan. Because, you know, I'm sitting with like-minded people. The stewards are trying to take banners off of some people about Gianluca Vialli. Can you leave that open? About Vialli. And sorry, closed. I meant not open. Okay. No. The stewards are trying to take the banners, and people are going, fuck off. This is a club legend. And it's just like that mentality. I'm a very loyal follower and supporter of Chelsea. I don't claim to be hardcore, though, in the sense of like some other fans. I don't claim to. I mean, I'm hardcore in the sense that I'll chant. I'll chant regularly. I'll sing. I'll stay till the end every game. Never really leave early. I don't believe in leaving early. I don't believe in booing your players. I'm someone who rocks up regularly. I'm there. I turn up. And it's just like, you know, it has to be bad when you think maybe I'm going to stop now. It's like you've had a job for a number of years. You've had a steady, well-paying job in an industry that you love, working around people that you love, and gradually that company just changes. Sometimes people find that when a company gets bigger, you know, it's just like, but we're not getting bigger. We're getting worse. We are getting worse. Every week I'm watching us and I'm thinking, this is just pathetic. And you know what? I wouldn't have felt this way if we would at least stuck with Maresca. Regardless of what you think about him. You have to remember, I was the number one Maresca hater last season. But I respect success. I respect that. And that's why my opinion changed. I respected what he did. And now you will respect what he did, because when you see what Rosenior's working with, you're going to go, fucking hell, I wish we could have a season like last year. That's how I feel right now. You saying top 4 is the expectation? Do you expect us to get top 4 with what we have? Don't use your emotional brain. Use your the logical side. Do you expect us to beat Arsenal? Do you expect us to win the FA Cup? Do you expect us to have a European run? Fucking hell. Really? As a Chelsea fan, you sound spoiled. Well, call me what you want, but I'm not just taking from the club, am I? I'm the one supporting it. Literally, financially. With my presence in the away, and like everyone else yesterday, that's the impact that you have as a Chelsea fan. That's the impact you can have. I don't feel like it's entitled to ask the club for some ambition. It's not entitled. It's not entitled. If I was a Crystal Palace fan, I'd be asking for more. I'd be asking for ambition. What does that even mean? What is ambition? Ambition means you want more than you had. You want to progress. I know if I support a championship club, we're not going to win the Premier League. But am I wrong to dream that we could one day get promoted or even come top of the championship? If I'm Crystal Palace right now, or if I'm Strasbourg, let's use Strasbourg, is it wrong for them to demand success in the Conference League with the amount of money that's been spent? It's ambition. We spent the money and we didn't get anything in return. So we're just going to encourage reckless spending. That's the agenda now. Just open up your pockets. That's what we're accepting. It's not a case of me being like, you know what, we lost, it's going to be fine. Like, this is what I was saying. It should have been fine now. If it was fine, we wouldn't have a new manager. If it was fine, we wouldn't have Bucking João Pedro and Gittins and Delap and Garnacho in the same team. No, I said on the fan cam, if you watched the beginning, I don't have a problem with Delap. I have a problem with the fact that you bought him and João Pedro. I don't have a problem with Garnacho. I think he's a capable squad player. But I don't want him starting every week. And I don't want to see Jamie Gittins coming off the bench either. That's what I have a problem with. And that is priorities. It's all about priorities. If you look at two sides of the equation, you go, okay, cool. Look, we need to be financially sustainable. And I understand that. Who was it? There was a journalist who's been heavily criticized. I think it was Simon Phillips. Okay, Simon Phillips was criticized because he had a conversation or he had a meeting with the sporting leadership team. And apparently things are a lot more optimistic because of it. And that might be the case, that we are going to invest in an attacking option, an elite attacking option. But how do we describe the players that we have at the moment? What are the descriptions that we're using? When Rosenior was asked about what do you think about the job that McFarlane's done at Man City so far? What do you think about it? He said, oh, he did a great job. Phenomenal. He's definitely going to win the game against Fulham. Like, we drew the game. I understand that you've got to give some praise, but it's like phenomenal means a draw. A draw is phenomenal. What is that? Is that phenomenal now? I don't remember it being phenomenal before. So now it's the case. I just think it's ridiculous. How are we doing, my friend?
Hello, brother. What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate. Oh, fair play for rocking up.
Oh, my apologies.
Fair play to you.
Work ran late tonight. It's my first week back from
good,
holidays.
All good. It's been a crazy period, man. I'll tell you what. I've just been having a rant, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having a rant. I'm at the stage now where I'm very, very close to just giving up, and I feel so let down as a match going fan that I don't even want to go. And that will change. I'll wake up and I'll still go. But like, I've never felt like that. Very rare that I've ever felt that way.
It's one of those feelings where, at least let me explain from my perspective. It's one of those feelings where you know what your club is supposed to be, and then the powers that are in charge make you feel powerless. And because you feel powerless, because you feel powerless, and because you have standards, you're not going to just go with whatever they give you. But then what do? It's a feeling of helplessness, because I saw the chance, but I'm telling you, from watching the game removed, even from my own fandom here in the US, when I was in Jamaica, watching the game removed, I felt disheveled. I just felt lost. First, the news broke. Then, okay, I give you the draw away against City, because we don't typically do well against City. But then that game yesterday, it's just, there's a whole cloud over the club, and I feel like if someone was supposed to ask me what does Chelsea feel like right now, I'd probably say disparity. You know, just this black void of unsurety. And only one man can be blamed, and that's Igbali. From your philosophy, from being stringent within your philosophy, from not having the awareness to say, hey, maybe I don't know everything about football, and let me let the footballing people do their job. To then being power hungry, to then finally getting a manager that can stabilize the club to win us 2 trophies. And all he's asking for is a bit more quality in key areas, so we can then kick on and do even better. But because of that, you're going to shun this man out on what he needs. So much so that he walks away. Very rarely that we see that in management. To then bringing in this Liam guy.
When has it ever happened at the highest level?
My point exactly.
Is there even one example in this century? I can't think of a single manager that hasn't had a payout.
You know, so you're right, but I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to say I'm pretty sure that it has happened before, but maybe not at a notable club, or even if it did, it's probably slipping us now. I'm just saying it shouldn't get like this at all, you know. And then on top of that, when I look at it, it kind of makes sense now why an Enrique, who's more experienced than Maresca, didn't take the job. Because if someone that can stabilize the club, that is quote unquote a rookie manager, can get to this position, then that simply means more experienced managers would have seen things like this coming, which is why they walk away when certain things can be guaranteed are met. So, even with no negotiations previously, when Igbali is negotiating with other managers, they straight up refused us. So, see, we're getting examples in the chat. Thank you, guys. So it's just a chasm of unsurety right now, and the way we lost that game yesterday, it's you know what I said yesterday when I was watching the game? To sum up Chelsea Football Club, look at how Pedro Neto played. To sum up the entire state of Chelsea Football Club, look how Pedro Neto played. Breaking down attacks, for one, right? Unable to use his ability to get the best of his opponent, whether 1v1 or breaking down the defense. How do I translate that to management? Unable to use your ability, even if you wanted to go with this model, unable to use your scouting ability to get the best young talents, i.e. Desiree Doué, i.e. maybe people might not like this name, or maybe a Bradley Barcola, i.e. a covered Scalia before you went to PSG. If you had a brain, and if you were going to be and if you really want the system to be successful, these are the type of targets you target within the system. So when we are playing on the pitch, and a guy like Alejandro Garnacho gets majority of the ball, i.e. that I'm talking about this Aston Villa game, when Enzo's finding him for fun and he's not able to take advantage of any of these attacking moments, it's a reflection of what the board has brought in.
I think it's crazy, man. And when you talk about signings like Kvaratskhelia as well, and players like that, if you would have just signed those players, and I know we did at the beginning, to be fair, with your Koulibaly's and stuff like that, Sterling's, but if you would have, if we could have got that right at the beginning, then we wouldn't have had to pivot so hard with this wage structure, and even with the wage structure, like, oh, come on, there has to be exceptions. There has to be moments where you know, you look at what's going on. I mean, it is Egbali's a businessman, and you know that if you can get the best guy, like I hear all the time about Elon Musk pinching people from Google and all the rest of it to come and work for him on his project, and he's paying them extortionate salaries. Like, that's what you have to do if you want to be the best. You know, the crazy thing as well, though, like, is we haven't seen Chelsea really compete for a Premier League since we last won it, and that's the reality, even under Tuchel. And people were okay to an extent because we were still winning the Champions League and, you know, getting to a lot of cup finals domestically. Like, we were still a formidable side. So the idea of building a young team and accepting the fact that we weren't going to challenge for a couple of years, but because we're not going to sack a manager straight away and we're going to just stick to this process, you know, this project's going to work like Arteta, like Klopp, you know, and give managers a time to really have their influence on the team. I would have honestly felt okay if we would have just given one manager an opportunity, because I would have been like, at least you're sticking to your word. Every single aspect of this is just, it's a lie, and it's okay making one mistake. It's okay making two mistakes. The third one, no, you messed up, and that's what we did sacking Maresca. I don't even know what your reaction was to that. I mean, personally, like, I wasn't his biggest fan. I respected what he did, but you're sacking a guy that at least was under the sort of influence of Guardiola and Pellegrini, who were top, both Premier League title-winning managers, both La Liga title-winning managers as well, if I'm not wrong. And you're replacing it with a guy who got sacked from Hull and Strasbourg.
So hold on. I don't want you to focus on. I want anyone to focus on a new manager, because that was always going to be the deal when they sack someone.
Isn't it? That's
exactly.
That's the thing.
But we know that the ambition from these owners was never going to get a top manager. So I'm more so frustrated because we're going to start over again. You remember all the growing pains with Maresca because he's a rookie manager? Guess what's going to happen? They might rear their ugly head in a different way this time. I don't know if Liam is going to look at what Maresca did, look at some of the mistakes and try to rectify it, but he's going to have rookie mistakes in his own way. Because there's just certain things you have to know. There's just certain things you know and learn from experiences. There's certain nuances you gain from being at a dugout at the highest level when you're under the pressure, right? That will never go away. When Maresca got fired, so I was one of the first one vocally to call out Maresca and to hold him accountable when everybody's saying, oh, he's a rookie manager. There's just certain things you don't do whether a rookie manager or not. I.e. panicking at Manchester United, i.e. playing players out of position. Yes, you can play a player out of their natural position for one-off games to win the game or throw the opposition off, but to do this consistently, especially against smaller teams, is a big no-no in my book, right? So I was the first one to kind of like heavily criticize Maresca, but I didn't criticize him to the point where I truly, really wanted him gone. Because he started to change, and I realized that, okay, he did stabilize us, get us top 4, and at the very least, I was willing to give him until the end of the season. I think he actually earned that based on what he did for us last season.
100%.
Whether you like the guy or not, he earned finishing the season. So 100%. That's why the reports I'm reading, I'm getting the impression that he walked away and he wasn't fired. Because he didn't get the compensation package. Go ahead.
If you look at Man United, I mean, I don't really I don't watch that many of their games to know. Like, I hear it's bad the way they play, and I've seen them, and they have a. It doesn't look like it's working at all. It was working with Amram, but I look at that and I'm like, what a fucking strange decision as well. Like sacking him, and then you're going to get an interim in for the rest of the season. Like, this is a pattern that we're seeing a lot now with managers being transitioned out of the roles of big clubs, and then you're having head coaches coming in so that the sporting directors get more power. And I really don't understand why a manager isn't allowed to at least heavily influence, and have the final say over a lot of these decisions. It can go wrong. You know, Ten Hag, his recruitment strategy at United was, very, very unsuccessful. Like some of the players they brought in, it happens. I don't, there's nothing wrong with it. But when I think of a manager, I think of Harry Redknapp calling a player and on deadline day trying to get the deal over the line. I think of what Fergie used to do. I think of all of these different characters. How are they able to have successful careers, but yet they were also able to deal with all the other elements? It's not to say that a manager shouldn't focus on football first, because they should. That is your primary goal, but you know what the team needs more than anything, because you have first-hand experience dealing day-to-day with training sessions that I don't even think the sporting directors necessarily understand what's going on with half the time.
Exactly.
So
I don't even think some of them go to them. So I don't even think some of these sporting directors go to these training sessions.
I mean, when I went to the training ground, I saw Joe Shields. That's it. And
Joe Shields coming up from the ground. He's coming up from the academy. You'd expect him to be there, What I will say is, you remember how you said, okay, some of the managers get it wrong. Has these sporting directors gotten anything right?
I mean, if I'm trying to find positives, I say Palmer. I think we have some good players, mate, but how many fuck ups to get there?
Exactly. Which is my point. You buy 10 players, you're bound to get 3 that's good. It's just a law of average and a law of quantity. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, the true test for a sporting directors is you buy 5, you get 4, 3 out of that 5 that are gems. 3 gems, 1 average, and maybe 1 that doesn't work out. That's the true test of a sporting director. You shouldn't have to go through 20 players and you only get 5 or 6 that are core players that are good for your squad. That's not how it works. And they've been doing this for a while now. So with that being said, no top club, whether they want to go down the sporting director, head coach route, is ever going to be successful without them working in tandem. I get it if you don't want the manager to have so much power, but when the manager asks for a specific type of player, specific quality of player, you don't go out and get Garnacho, and you don't tell him to work with what he has defensively, especially when the defense has been a failing defense year in, year out, and he's struggling to put a structure together to get the best out of these players, because sometimes the structure will fail and quality will talk. When quality talk, and if it's not quality answering that call, guess what's happened? This was happened. You're going to fail in that area. So if a manager simply says, I just need 1 top attacker and I need 1 top defender, why is it so difficult to give in to what he wants? You can sell players. You're good at selling players. January is coming. Go ahead.
I was going to say, according to Simon Phillips, when he spoke with the sporting directors, there's no policy that you can't get a player that's 25 or over. Apparently that policy doesn't exist. But I'm just like, you've got to prove it.
I don't believe that. They're just doing that to save face. They're just saying that to save face. You have to bring in someone else. And even if Alex, even if they did do that now, you know what the first question everyone's going to say? Why did you wait this long to do so?
Yeah.
Why did you wait?
Especially if that player has a big impact.
Imagine if we had that player like that when we were second, just drew with Arsenal, going into that Leeds game. These players can change the tide of those games, which eventually change your league position. Why wait until now? And even if they do so now, everyone's simply going to say your strategy failed and you finally came around to admitting it.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the first press conference from Rosenior at 1:30 tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. So I will be listening to that. And I like the guy's enthusiasm. I do. I mean, but I saw a video of him on the training pitch with Esteval in his arm, giving it this. I don't know what Esteval's thinking, but he's probably thinking like, I'm going on international duty and I've got Ancelotti and I'm coming back to Chelsea and I've got Rosenior. For me, it's very difficult to feel inspired. But we're going to try and get a little bit more logical as well, mate, and talk about the Fulham game as well. We do need to speak a little bit about the football. I'm going to give you 2-3 positives. That's what I've got. I think the lap will improve now that Maresca's gone. I think we've seen that. I think Gusto as a wing back or as an overlapping
natural right back.
Yeah, natural right back. I think that will also be. I think that will also benefit us, and it's good to see that Hato can actually play. I don't know why he didn't play him beforehand under Maresca. Like the guy never got any trust, and the same to Santos. So if I'm trying my best to find a positive, then those are the things I'd look at. Palmer, I think, will come good. We're just not seeing it. I mean, he's getting criticised a lot, but I'm personally, I have the feeling that the guy, he's been so restricted within a system that might feel a bit weird actually having a bit of freedom. Maybe you need a bit of time to figure that out. He should have got an assist. Well, he didn't touch the ball, but it was basically an assist for the lap. So I'm not really on that train, coming for Palmer.
All right, so I'm just going to echo some of the things you said, but I'm going to put a different spin on it. I'm going to start from the Liam perspective, right? He did wonders with Andre Santos at Strasbourg. Like, Andre Santos became a core linchpin in his system.
Yeah.
And we've seen early on in the season what Andre Santos can bring to the team. What I will say about Liam, he doesn't take young players out the limelight just because of a simple mistake. Because the last 2 times I saw a Gerald Hato, he plays well. Why wasn't he the go-to backup for Cucurella under Maresca? Yes, I get it. He had that horrible game against in the Champions League, but you don't just take him away and throw him away like that. This is a Dutch international. He can do a job, and we've seen that. He came in when Cucurella got the red card. Hey, people! Apparently, substituting a left back for a left back actually works. Who would have thought? Right? Who would have thought that Malagusta doesn't look horrible when he plays as a right back? Oh yeah, that's his natural position, an overlapping right back. So these are some of the things. If Leon comes in and recognizes it, okay, I have young players that has the talent and the quality to be top players in the future. If he can somehow replicate what he did with Andre Santos, because I know you were having a joy watching Andre Santos sit beside Caicedo before Cucurella got that red card. I know you were having, because I was saying, are we actually cooking without a manager? This is before the Cucurella red card, because the way Enzo and Andre would interchange as to who steps forward in attacking positions to support the forward players was so seamless, right? And I was loving that 3-man midfield. So if Liam can come in, put his hands around Esteval, give Esteval what Esteval needs is a run to the end of the season. He's going to make mistakes, but it comes with the territory. If we can play that 3-man midfield and have Palmer and Esteval playing as 2 inside 10s behind a João Pedro or a Delap or a more improved Delap, then we would be feasting. Because I'm tired of Neto. Not that disrespecting Neto, but maybe you just need a rest, brother. Maybe you've played too much games and your divider and your quality is starting to diminish. Because that happened to some players. Right? Garnacho, Gittins are not good enough. If he can get his arm around Gittins and utilize Gittins' pace and attribute, because his playing style is very similar to Maresca. The only difference is it's extremely more direct. There's no fluffy bouncing the ball around when you need to break the line. He's going to force you to break the lines. right? And there's players that's moving in within the transition, and he relies on player space. If he can somehow get the best out of the young players in the squad, i.e., improve Achempang from the quality that Achempang has already, put his arm around Esteban and say, "You're my guy. I'm putting you on that left wing or in that 10, and you interchange right wing, and you interchange with Palmer. Go ahead. We need to see. Hato will, I'm telling you, if we can get the best out of Hato, easily interchangeable with Kukure at times, especially when we need to rotate. So those are some of the positives that I'm agreeing with you on, because if Liam can use that and the more mature players in the team can see that he's improving the younger players, that coupled with the quality of a Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and Palmer when he's back at it, why can't we make a strong run for some of these cups at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think you make some good points. I do think you make some good, especially about the 2 inside 10s. I mean, that would be something that would be interesting. You don't see us playing with, in a way that where the wingers are further out, like with Maresca. You'd rather they were further inside so we can overlap with the fullbacks. Only
because we don't have the quality on the left wing, Alex. We just don't. I don't trust Gittins, and I still trust Gittins more than Garnacho. Garnacho has had the game time to receive. I've seen this man, if I had to put it in minutes, 45, 50 minutes just receiving the ball in space, in space, with time, and because of his lack of quality, nothing comes from it.
Then that's Gittins the crazy thing, man.
Yep. Then Gittins comes on, puts across at the back post, and then we get a goal. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I've gone just frustrating as hell. I think he's good enough to be a squad player. I think he's good enough to be a squad player, but I can't. I find it baffling, mate. Like, those are the 2 signings I was like, fine. I didn't have a problem with Garnacho. I didn't have a problem with Delap. I was okay with those 2. Delap was a bargain. Paid nothing for that guy, so it's not like it was a risk. You paid twice as much for João Pedro, and honest to God, mate, I don't see what everyone else is seeing. I kept my mouth shut when he was performing because I thought, fair enough. But like, I was never looking at the guy and enjoying it. Does that make sense? So sometimes you see a player score and you're like, you scored, but everything around your game is just not attractive to watch. And listen, it's not all about looking good, but I see a player in Delap that a lot of people dislike, but I've compared him to Diego Costa in the past. And when I say that, people get offended. But I'm not saying that Delap's going to score as many goals as Diego Costa. I'm not saying that his ability is anything like Diego Costa. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that he's actually got a bit of bite. And at Chelsea, that's what we like. When I was in the away end at City, like, we loved it when he pushed that guy in the back. And people complain about the yellow card. I don't care about a yellow card. As long as it's not a red, it's not a problem for me, because that's your game. That's what you thrive off of. So if you need to have a little bit of edge and sort of, go near the line, but not quite crossing it, and I'd say Cucurella is similar, although he got caught out against Fulham, then I don't have a problem with it. We've found that players like that can thrive in those situations tend to do well. And I'm hoping that Delap, can really, really start to feel that freedom. Actually, going down to 10 as well. Like, I do think that João Pedro did a good job against Man United in Old Trafford when we went down to 10. Like, I really was impressed.
I think
João Pedro is a different type of player, mate. And I don't see João Pedro dragging us through the depths. And I feel like Delap will come good. That's my opinion. You might disagree with it, but I'm a fan of him in particular.
What I want to see is Delap and João Pedro play together in that same. Remember, the reason why I want these 2 inside 10s. I'm going back to what we did to PSG at the Club World Cup when we played with 2 inside 10s. Right? Palmer and Enzo, they played as 2 inside 10s. Right? So I'm thinking if you can get Palmer, João Pedro, if you want to rest Esteban, and use Delap up top, why not? João Pedro is supposed to be a quote-unquote 10 anyways. Our support striker, anyways, according to
do you prefer him as a 10 or as a striker? Because even, like, I'll be honest with you, mate, and this might be me waffling. Maybe I need to watch a few highlight reels, but I don't see a particularly creative player with João Pedro. Like whenever he's got the ball, I don't think, oh, he's going to find that pass.
I think
I
he's
mean,
more
is
of a
that just
ball
me
carrier.
that's saying that?
No. I prefer him as a 9.
Oh, you prefer him as a striker?
Yeah, I prefer him as a 9. Simple because I know if he gets the space, he can finish. And he's all up played depending on how you utilize him. Perfect example, that goal against Newcastle. You know, the way how he's able to win the ball and flick the ball over, put his body in front of the ball and the opponent to finish. Like I trust his finishing capability more than a Delap per se. But it's dependent on how you utilize him, which is why I'd love to see a front three of Palmer, Estevao, and João Pedro before I make a definitive decision on whether he starts week in, week out. Because I know what Delap can bring. But João Pedro, his body movement, his link-up play, I think we can get more out of our front three if he starts as a striker, but you have to put that quality behind him. He's never gonna strive with Neto and Garnacho playing off of him.
Yeah.
Come on. Like I can see our Delap strive off of those Garnacho cutbacks, but not João Pedro. So I think you put more technical gifted players around him, i.e. Palmer and Estevao, and you could get more goal and assist output.
But he's not a player that will be able to carry us on his own. And that to be fair is one thing where I think Maresca's system never really gave us the opportunity to see that, because individuals suffered at the hands of benefiting the team and the structure. And I think that we will see individuals thriving, but that means the team could do a lot worse as well. So let's not act like that we're going to be in a better position. You look at Pochettino's season, a couple of players were fantastic, but we finished 6th, and obviously we had the season that we had. Just on Pedro Neto as well, mate. Like I'm a huge Pedro Neto fan. I think he should have been dropped. I don't think he should have played against Fulham. I was very disappointed that he didn't score at the Etihad. I do think that he's going to be one of the players that is going to suffer at the hands of a change of system.
I'm so happy about that.
When we're in possession, mate, like I have to admit, like he looks, first of all, he looks one-footed.
Mm-hmm.
He can't go on his right. Although he does cross with his right, but he does it in a weird way where he does about 2 or 3 dummies and then eventually whips it in. By that point, it's
the play is dead. The man plays dead.
And then on his left side, I just don't find him direct enough. Something that I used to love about I'm trying to think, any wing back, Marcus Alonso, I'd say the same about Gusto, is when you're running on the flank and then you whip that ball in as you're running. That's a real skill, but that's something you develop when you play as a winger, as a fullback. Like you get into the habit of doing it. And that's one thing that Pedro never does. He always stops and then he puts the ball in. And I've noticed that more recently, especially because everyone's criticizing. I'm going, oh, God, I mean, I appreciate the criticism, but also I say, you know what, since the Club World Cup, I think in the Club World Cup, he was our player of the tournament. I think he was the best one. And I think that, at times during the season, he had a really good stint where he was scoring goals, getting assists, and he was a real crucial part of our team from the Nottingham Forest game up until Everton.
It could just be, you could have chalked it up to a purple patch or a run of form, and the form ran out. For what I am seeing from Pedro Neto is slightly better than what I get from Garnacho.
Oh, 100%. 100%. No, that's not controversial at all. I mean, do you think he can play as a wing back then? Because this is the only thing that concerns me, though, is if he is a wing back, you don't always have the time to stop and cross and slow it down. And that's the one thing I'm looking at. Because I know he can track back. I know he can go up and down the pitch.
When we played that formation against PSG, and when we played some of the formations in the Club World Cup, he was a wing back. Played on the left wing. He contributed the width on the left hand side, and Malo Gusto contributed the width on the right. So yes, he can play as a wing back.
Do you want to see him as a wing back?
I want him to be dropped. I want him to be dropped, brother. Not even 10 feet near this pitch right now.
But
recover.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not talking about the the Arsenal game or the Charlton game. I'm just saying, like, do you see that happening? If you had to say, right, because I would say under Maresca, I would say Neto was a key part of the spine of this team. As much as people want to deny, he was a key part of the spine. A lot of people were saying as well, he was like almost, Sarri's Jorginho, and then you had Kai Havertz and Tuchel, and it's the same with Neto and Maresca. Don't know if I look at it like that, but he did play a lot. But I mean, there's clearly a reason he was starting games to begin with. That's due to a lack of quality with what we already signed. Mm-hmm. But if you're then going to try and improve Palmer and put him more on the right, and you've got a spot for Esteval, presumably going to put 2 10s, Neto doesn't fit into that.
And so that's fine. And that's fine. He can be a squad player. You know, if you don't. Problem. And here's the thing, and there is a reason why I'm saying that. If Neto was putting up the performances, this would not be a question. And if that is a fact, who's it on? The player, the coach, or the player? It's on the player. You're just not good enough. If you were good enough, no one would be having this conversation. No one have conversations over Caicedo. In fact, the conversation we have, because Andre Santos has improved, is who do we take out to add Andre? Because we're better with Andre. Do you get what I'm saying? It's you, because remember with Andre, he was a bench player, come in, substitute here and there. No, we want to see him start. So now we're moving Palmer from the 10th position and shifting it out wide. Or he plays instead of Caicedo sometime. Or he plays instead of Enzo sometimes. If you had the quality and if you're consistent with your quality, this would be a conversation. So the fact that this is a conversation simply means you're just not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad to say it, but I'm in agreement with a lot of people about Neto at the moment. If you'd have asked me 4 games ago, I would have said something different. But I've been very, very disappointed.
Yeah. Work rate won't save you. When you're an attacker,
work rate's important. Hey, but when you say work rate won't save you, this is another thing. Like I'm hearing Rosenior, and he's talking about, they're asking what he's going. He's going, I care about the application, the intensity, this and that. And that's all good. That's great. But when I was listening to Maresca, he was talking about inverting players. This is your role. This is what I expect, blah, blah, blah. I'm seeing a polar opposite. And the PE teacher, I mean, I know it's disrespectful, but that's what a PE teacher does. That's what a regular coach does. When I go and coach kids where I live, that's what I'm doing a lot of the time. It's about encouraging them. But this brings me back to the whole Esteval thing, and I'm sure it's nothing, but you've got the player around your arm. You want to build a relationship, no problem. Mm-hmm. But there does come a point where, as a player, I said this yesterday in the ground, I'd love to know what it's like in the dressing room. If I'm Cole Palmer, if I'm Enzo Fernandez, I'm a World Cup winner, and I'm looking for inspiration, and then I look up and I see this guy who's never really had a career in the top flight of football trying to motivate me, I would say that's patronizing. So that's the problem, because I think it contradicts with what a lot of the players are actually looking for, which is, listen, guys, we know we're going to work hard. We know that's what we have to do. We want to win games of football. We want to win titles. And I think Rosenior, he's spoken about, I want to be a winning Chelsea manager, but there's nothing to prove that's going to be the case. And I don't see how he can adapt his coaching style so much in such a short space of time.
The players will puck up and listen once his instructions are clear and it translates to the pitch, which translates to winning games. If Palmer listens to him, because they will give him a chance. They have to. If Palmer, within the next 3 Premier League games or whatever cup games are over the next 3 games, bags 2 goals and assists, and it comes directly from a system change, you don't think Palmer's going to listen?
What's funny, though? I think that Palmer's best football was when he wasn't given real structural instructions. He was just saying, go out and have fun.
But if
maybe that's what's going to happen.
But that is an instruction.
It's true.
If I recognize that Palmer operates best when I don't put shackles on him, I can set up the team to give him that freedom. If I realize that Esteval is a maverick and to get the best out of him is to do something similar, then I set up a system to allow that where it doesn't hurt us defensively. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if Liam can recognize these things and then put his arm around Palmer, put his arm around Esteval, and say it in a way where it clicks quicker than not, because the players will give him time, but his tactics have to hit the ground running, essentially. I know it's unfair to him, but it's just the reality of the situation. If they go out and destroy Cardiff, and if they go out and put up a fight or beat Arsenal, not necessarily convincingly, but one of those matches where you can clearly see where we're the better team and we're not 2-1, and we get to a cup final, I'm telling you they will listen to him. And he kind of came in at the right time, because if he does go to that cup final and brings home a cup in January, February, then he kind of got a little bit of credit in the bank.
Can you imagine if he had the same problem as Maresca and he's like, yeah, I've won a trophy, I want a new signing? Can you imagine?
That is going to happen.
Yes, that's what everyone says. Yeah.
It happens in everyday life. I get a job today, I agree an X amount of salary. If I'm there 2-3 years and I'm one of your better employees, you don't expect me to come and knock on the door and ask for a better salary? Is that not the same thing?
Well, are we talking about pay here, or are we talking about, actual control?
So how I'm relating this is, Maresca would be the employee. Maresca came in, stabilized the ship. Remember, Chelsea was a erratic ship. Stabilized the ship, brought you 2 trophies. That would be him performing well in his job role. Correct. The equivalent to asking for a pay raise is to, hey, can I get some players because we can probably win a Premier League title? You don't expect him to see where weaknesses in other teams and where he can improve to try and win us a title, to make us better, to make you more money. Do you get what I'm saying? It happens in everyday life in different scenarios. So I expect nothing to change. Liam comes in, I really want him to do well, but when he does well, he's going to ask for certain things. He's going to ask for, if he cannot develop one of these strikers to be a world beater, he's going to ask for someone that could potentially be a world beater. Same thing with the defense.
Yeah, well, we've put ourselves in a position now with a number of these players where you've spent enough money that you can't sell them straight away, and it's all great when you've got players like Madueke, who, by the way, like in hindsight, you go,
we should have kept him. We should have kept him.
If it was him or Sancho, at least one of them,
Sancho.
They're still better than what you've got on the left. But I looked at Madueke and thought that was good business. And I didn't have a problem because I didn't really like Madueke anyway, to be honest with you. And the same with Sancho. I was like, you're demanding more money than you're worth, mate. Like, we're talking about
Sancho.
Sorry?
I'm not going to lie. And looking at it now, because when you look at both salaries combined, you might as well just give it to Santos, to Sancho. And use Neto on the left as backup whenever you need to think about it.
Oh, you know what's crazy as well? Like, where's the medical policy, like the medical team with Neto? Have you not thought about where's the medical team? The guy is playing every week. He was injury prone at Wolves, constantly getting injured every year. He'd have, or every 2 years, have a major injury, and he'd have little niggles throughout the season. Where's the substitutions for him? Where's the substitution for Enzo Fernandez? Where's the substitution for Caicedo? I'll tell you why. It's because they are not the players that they need to build up value. Those were the only players that were brought in that essentially, I could say, was for the football. All right,
they're not going anywhere.
That was the primary goal. That's great, and it's great to mix a little bit of that in. But why not just get a few more in? Like, everybody's been saying it. Couple more players, and you're there. By the way, if we win a trophy, I don't know how I'm going to react. I really don't know, because I'm just confused at this point. I don't understand what's going on. It's so hard to keep up with. It's like you read one article about this, and then the next moment, there's something else going on. I'm reading I'm reading in England about this and that with the Prime Minister. Fucking Trump, he's taken Venezuela. Next thing, China. I can't keep up. That's how Chelsea feels at the moment. And I'm talking about politics because it's like we're being politicized. We're having a situation now where I'm outside the ground. What did you think about the game? And I did not say a word after that for 1 or 2 people. And they just spoke about the ownership and the project. And I think when you're at that stage, That's when it's really concerning because nobody wants to talk about it, but they do it because they feel like they have to.
Yeah, and no one wants to talk about it's an indictment of the club when it's the ownership and the hierarchy before the football. Let that sink in.
Hey man, I think we've got some dark days ahead of us if he doesn't do well. If he loses against Charlton, can you imagine? Can you imagine? And we played poorly against Lincoln. We were poor against Lincoln.
If we lose against Charlton, I'm blaming more so the players. And here's why. Here's why. With McFarlane in charge, we were able to put up a showing against Manchester City. But prior to that red card for Kukurea, we were dominating Fulham. With a new manager in charge, I don't care his experience level. You still have to prove why we signed you, and that you want to be a main key in the system. Because technically, this is a fresh start for everybody. There's only some players that you know have to play, which is probably Caicedo, Enzo, and Robert Sanchez. Everybody, and Reece James and Kukurea. Everybody else has to work for their spot. So you're telling me it's a new manager. You have to impress. It's a cup game, probably one of the cups that you can win this season if you get your act right. And you show up lethargic. I'm sorry. I am not blaming the manager if we lose. That's all on all of the players. No, if the manager comes out with horrible tactics, and even then, it's his first game. It's his first a couple of training sessions. I'm not trying to give this guy a pass. I'm just saying it's too close of a proximity between our last game and the next one for him to have such a strong influence where if we lose, the players don't get any blame at all. You get what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We used to say the same thing with Potter. We used to say it's the players, like that he just needs more time and this on that. But then it's like, how much time do you need? I mean, what's your time frame for a manager?
But if he has a full preseason, the first 5.
Okay, you're talking about a whole season then. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm talking about, let's say if he has a preseason, the first 5 games, 5 to 10 games within that season. If it's a situation like now, I gotta give him until the end of February.
And then he's going to get back. But that's a realistic thing that could actually happen. I mean, that's
it's the reality of the job. Look what happened to Potter. And Potter started in September.
Oh, mate, we are just honestly. Can I ask you? Like, the more you think about the club, the more you speak about the club at the moment. Like, you're very upbeat, but you must. Does it not make you depressed?
Of course it does. This is just me as a person. This is my personality. I'm not necessarily always upbeat. When I can see positives, I'd rather hang on to those more than the negative. Because you're already speaking about the negative. I already resonate with the negative. There must be some light in the tunnel. Might not be the light at the end of the tunnel. You know when you're walking through a tunnel, you just see those lights on the walls. There must be some light within that tunnel where I can see, know what? If this can go right, if that can go right. Because the reality of it is the ball is round and we just don't know what direction this could go in. So before a ball is being kicked, I want to kind of cover all facets.
Do you think that the good things are going to outweigh the bad?
Absolutely not. But hey, we both can't just sit here and be negative the entire street.
I thought you were going to give me a nice optimistic answer for a second there.
Nah, this club has broken my heart too much times over the past 3-5 years since the ownership came in for me to keep on saying to you, we'll pull through. They just have to do it first. But at the same time, I do see those lights in the tunnel.
Now we know how Man United fans feel. Honestly, like I can't imagine being in that situation. I mean, to be fair, there's an argument that they're worse in terms
they're
of
above us.
Well, no, but in terms of like the way they're run, like they are fucking shocking. And you know what we have to lean on? We have the fact that we have very recent major success that we can lean on, and they don't have that. Yeah. And that for me is, that's going to give us, number one, a bit of pull, a little bit of credibility, even if most of it's been lost. And we can still have a little bit of pride in what we've experienced. But we're falling down, man. We are falling down quick. I'm just going to go for a couple of questions, mate. Go through the super chats, and then we're going to wrap it up. Big up to you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
problem. Can I ask you a question before we get to that?
Yeah,
Really
sure,
quick.
sure.
Looking at the state of the club and the players we have, do you think an implementation of Antonio Conte's system could help us? 3 at the back, wing backs, and the 3 inside forwards going, and the 3 forwards going forward.
I don't think. Are we looking at this in terms of the way Antonio Conte plays it, or just the formation itself?
Both. Because
no,
okay.
I don't know, because I don't think that the club will accept it, because they have set out a vision of how we're supposed to play. This is another thing. When you're talking about success, it's like, how do you get there? And then you listen to podcasts, David Goggins, all these people. How did you do it? I did everything I could. No matter what I had to do, I did what needed to be done to get the job done. And straight away, we're restricting ourselves. Yeah? Diego Simeone, Jose Mourinho, a lot of managers out there. I'd say Emery at times, Arteta at times. They have won matches or titles through playing defensive football. So immediately you're getting rid of an option that, to be quite honest with you, like, I would love nothing more than to go to the Etihad. Guardiola has 75% of possession and go
and can do a thing with
counter attack.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, they can do a thing with it. Here's the reason why I ask. This should have been a legitimate option when Colwill went down, but none of our defenders are of the quality enough to stay with a 2 at the back or a 4 at the back. And here's why I say that. If we had put a Tosin on the right-hand side, a Chalobah in the middle, and a Badiashile on the left, that's 3 at the back, but they still get the extra coverage from the fullbacks. Excuse me, because with those 3 at the back, you could put Reece James in one of the centre-back position where he's not bombing up and down. But Malagusto bombs up and down. Kukurea could bomb up and down. Joel Hatter could come in and bomb up and down. In the middle of the park, you have your Enzo Caicedo as the pivot, because we saw that with Conte and Jorginho, did we not?
Yes.
Right? And then the 3-10s could, the 3 forwards could rotate, whether you go with 3 wingers that has the overlap of the wing backs going forward at times. So the wing backs could hold the touchline, and then the wingers come in play, or they rotate, or you could go with 2 10s and a striker. So the fact that we haven't seen that not once at our club, because you can still set up like that and still play swashbuckling football. Don't get it twisted. Not because you play 5 at the back doesn't mean you're ultra defensive. It just means you have a bit more defensive solidity because of the deficiency within the defensive attributes that your players have. So basically what I'm saying, if you don't have the quality defensively, make the quality structurally. Even if you don't have the defensive quality individually, make the defensive quality good structurally. And then you use your attacking play. I'm just saying, it's something to look into. Leon,
no, it makes sense.
My advice.
It does make sense, especially when you look at players like Tosin, who I think would thrive in a back 3. Chalobah's already thrived in a back 3 when Tuchel was here.
Yeah.
I think Chalobah played some of his best football under Tuchel. You've got to remember as well, that was when he first came into the side. So if we were to look at the situation now, say, could Chalobah break into the squad in the same way that maybe a Achimpong or a player like that? I don't know, because Chalobah's a solid player, but he does have mistakes in him. But we didn't see that when he first started.
Because it was a back 3. Tuchel and Conte got us there's 2 majors playing 3 at the back. I'm telling you, it's a solution to our current problems.
But maybe our own arrogance, mate, blinds us, and that could be the issue. We think that we're bigger and better than we are. But again, when you say attacking football, you can do that with 3 at the back. You see Inter Milan, they've got their centre backs coming out, and and then you'll have one that sits. So I mean, you can have a even more offensive structure if you want to, but it's about taking risks. I don't know what Rosenior is going to do, but what I do know is that he's tactically flexible, and I'm glad. I'm very glad to see that. I think that's something that's refreshing. And when I say this stuff, don't think that what I'm saying is that flexibility is going to win us games. I don't know. I have no proof. I have nothing to fall back on to to give you that argument. But I've always said that I think that we will play more entertaining football with a manager like Rosenior, and I think that's pretty much the number one positive. The fact that a couple of individuals, Palmer, Delap, Gusto, Santos, maybe Hato.
No, definitely Hato. I know. I can see him.
They will benefit and they will improve. But will the team as a whole improve? And what are we sacrificing then for players to have this freedom? Are we going to have another Pochettino season? I mean, personally, I found that very entertaining, but obviously you want to win matches. But I'm very much of the opinion, mate, that I would rather Chelsea finish outside of the Champions League and be entertained than finish in the Champions League and be bored to death. Because I'll be honest with you, mate, I've really not enjoyed the football that we've played under Maresca. The only thing I've enjoyed is the fact that we've won trophies, and that's the only reason I've accepted Maresca, was because we won trophies. But make no mistake about it, if we do anything similar with Rosenior and we don't win trophies, then it's pointless. The reason Tottenham care about the brand of football they play is because they know they're not going to win anything. And so if we're going down that route actively with Clearlake, which is not what they say, but it's what they look like, then, you don't care about winning the Carabao Cup against Arsenal. That's what you're saying. I think it's an absolute disgrace, but you better entertain me. I better watch those players and go, you know what? I'm seeing Palmer balling out. I'm seeing this guy, and we're conceding silly goals. That's what happens when you play attacking football and you're still not good enough. A lot of people find that hard to accept, especially fans that sit at home and watch. But you have to understand, when you spend time, money, put all this effort into watching your team and you're bored, like, why do we watch football? Like, let me ask you, mate, what's the number one reason you watch football? The number one reason?
To see, for that dopamine when that goal goes in and we win, that dopamine effect. So I want to say I agree with you, but I am different, because I loved in an almost sadistic sense how Mourinho coached us sometimes.
Brother, he won trophies.
Put the trophies to the side, because yes, trophy will always be my ultimate goal. But we're talking about how I enjoy football. Sometimes I love that 1-0 win and the opposition knowing they were nowhere close to hurting us. The opposition, when I know, because whether we're defensive or whatever, they cannot touch us. They don't have a prayer against us. Whether if we set up defensive or we're playing counter-attacking football, because I love counter-attacking football. But I like the fact to know that my shield is so strong, I don't even have to worry about you attacking. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So
I love counter-attacking football as well, mate. I think that it's the most entertaining football you can play, because you get so many surprises. And when you've got possession all the time and they pass it backwards, and then you don't really get up to those goals. Whereas when you're on the counter, you get off up your seat and you're ready for that moment.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So I love both. I love all aspects of football, but as I mature, my favorite type of football is that defensive football where, you know what? Can you break me down? No. Can I hurt you on the counter? Each and every... Yes. You remember... Let's put this in the perspective. You remember Jurgen Klopp's team when he was at his prime? When Sadio Mane, Salah was going forward and they were at it. Like, that's the best. I love that, because he thrived on transitional and attacking football to get them like that. Versus the City that was our position base. I love that. If you could somehow couple that with having a strong defense, give Pep's Manchester City 55% possession, but when we get the ball, they're panicking. That's the type of football I like.
Fair. No. I'm with you on that. I counter-attacking football is very underrated, but I think people have woken up to the fact that it's fun to watch because of Maresca, because of Guardiola, who wins trophies. But there are games of Man City when I watch, I think, bloody hell,
this is boring.
I know what they're going to do. There's no. You never watch anything new. It's just rinse, repeat every single time, and if it works, hey, don't change. If it's not broken, then it doesn't need to be fixed. But I mean, we are broken.
We are broken. And if that's their style of play, that's their style of play. Everyone has a style of play for football, because I would say the ball is on, and you cannot, not because you like the Hansi Flick high line, you're going to diminish the Inzaghi structural defensive. Because you remember that Inter Barcelona game? Oh, Barcelona should have won. No. Inter played some good football too, and they scored more goals than they conceded. That's why they won. That's not how football works, bro. That's not how football works. Oh, you deserve to win. Hey, and that's why I like that type of football. You know, everyone's against it, but it still beats you. So what are you gonna say then?
Nah, but you know what? If there's ever a club that we've had iconic counter-attacking football, it's got to be us. I mean, Atletico Madrid also, I'd say, are quite iconic in that sense. Trying to think of another club.
Real Madrid under Zidane, their counter-attack was
True.
immense.
I mean, yeah, we need to get back to the stage where, and you can do this even in our current state. You know, but players, just because Garnacho, well, Garnacho is a counter-attacking player. Like, he loves
United's a counter-attacking player too. They can score goals off counter-attack, but you have to set them up that way. You cannot play position-based football with Garnacho, Neto, and Gittins.
But then why would they
ideal is his pace.
This goes against everything. Like, why did we sign them if we're saying that their best attributes are with counter-attacking setups?
Because the sporting directors are numpties. It's simple as you're not scouting correctly. It's not rocket science. 2 and 2 doesn't equal 5 in this sense. 2 and 2 actually equals 4. You buy a player that doesn't have the technical quality to retain the ball, which is why Sancho worked with our system, because he can retain the ball. The only issue everyone had with Sancho is that he wouldn't shoot. He could shoot, but he just wouldn't. If Sancho had more shot volume, we would be crying out to keep him when the summer transfer window ended or opened. With these players, they cannot retain the ball in a positive sense. The only thing Garnacho can do is cut back, Let that sink in. But when he's on the counter-attack, he looks way different than before. And the Garnacho, the people that support Garnacho, that's when they talk. But it's two types of football. When we're in position, Garnacho is a liability. When we're in transition, when we're playing traditional, quicker attacking football, he's a liability because he has to do less. Touch the balls and receive the ball, touch it in front of you, and run it down and shoot after the keeper. Less instructions, more effective.
Hey, big up to you, my friend. Let's go through these super chats and then we're going to wrap it up. Big up to you, Father. Hope you're doing well. Maybe we should all take a holiday. At least I've seen my club win it all. Sometimes you think about it every day and you felt that you're on the dark side. He says it's like we've been held hostage by Igbali and these other Muppeteers. I'm so sick and tired that these lot are being arrogant. Big up to you, Father. We made a funny joke. Honestly, Father loves a Chinese, mate. He loves a chow mein. I said, Father, you're going to spend more money in January than we will.
Mm-hmm.
You will spend more money on the chow mein than Igbali's going to spend on a new signing. Mm-hmm. There's no indication that we're going to invest. The only thing that could possibly make me think we're going in that direction is the fact that Rosinier's come in, and as a show of good faith, we bring someone in. But there doesn't seem to be much conversation about who that might be, and I'm not hearing any rumors even. I mean, there's not even any PR, mate. I mean, Vinicius was just a piss take.
Yeah, like his wage is, bro. Not even bring it up. His wage demands are way out of our structure.
I don't know, man. I mean, Gurhi at Palace is the only one that is realistic. But why would he choose us when you've got Liverpool and you've got Arsenal apparently interested? Or
even Madrid is interested. So
why would he choose us? I don't see why. The thing is, as well, is he knows what it's like to be at Chelsea, and he knows that Chelsea are crumbling. Mm-hmm. So apart from the fact that you're going to get regular game time, which I think he would be confident about, what reason do you have to pick us? And even if we sign a player like Gurhi, let's just say we bring him in,
it's too late.
And everybody else in this squad is fit. Do we have a title-winning squad? No,
because we still have the issues on the left-hand side. I'd rather sign a forward.
What, a left winger?
We can think about it. Think about it, Alex. We could put a defensive structure to get us over the line at the end of the season, and then go for a centre back. There's no structure that we can put together to improve these players' quality unless we start to play back and forth transitional football where the quote unquote players that we don't deem have the quality they strive best in.
I mean, I'd love it if we could get the best out of players. I mean, Rosenior does seem like he's out of the box. You know, he thinks differently, but different is not always good. Different
Look at
could mean
Mercer.
you're absolutely shite.
Yeah.
So
Look
that's
at
the
Potter.
risk.
They both thought outside of the box.
I mean, let us know in the chat if you think we're going to play a back three or a back four, what formations we're going with, and if you fit Neto into the team, or if you're going with two inside forwards like Palmer and Esteval with the lap in front, maybe João Pedro as well if he's a 10 or a 9, and you know, how we fit everything into place. But as always, Javon, mate, an absolute pleasure having you on. I'm glad that I was able to speak this time. Because the last time we were on a show, honestly, within the first 10 minutes, I was in a hotel. Someone was banging so hard on my walls, screaming Italian, that I had to whisper for the whole show. So it's nice to actually be able to speak properly. But yeah, mate, it'd be good to have you on again. Let me know when you're around, and hopefully the job's going well with New Year. You guys don't get much time off in America, do you? It's quite tough.
Yeah, we get going. For me, I had to take PTO, so I traveled, and now I'm back on first week back at work. So that's why I missed the show on Monday. But I'm back now, and I'm ready to go.
I love it, man.
Yeah, we don't really get much time off. We only get like the New Year's and the Christmas week, or the 3 days, Christmas Eve and Christmas and the day after Christmas, depending on when it falls on.
What is it, 14 days a year?
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Hey, well, big up to you. You're a hustler. You're still fitting in the time, mate. I respect it. Everyone, show some love in the chat as well. And as always, we will be back during
Find
the
out
show
the
again.
podcast, people. Find out the podcast. Check out my
yes.
content.
Oh, yes. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No problem.
Go and check out Javon's channel as well. Final Whistle Podcast. Is there anything else in it? Or is it just those words?
Yeah, just the Final Whistle Podcast. Brand change coming soon, so you guys can find me a bit easier. But all of these things juggling at once. What do I got?
Hey, you're doing well. Have you got a new episode out?
The latest I have is my thoughts on Mariska leaving, and coming up we'll have a new episode of the Sideline View next week when me and the boys get into some good discussion here.
Hey,
check it out.
We'll check it out. All the best, guys. Make sure you subscribe and enjoy the rest.